Look at your hands right now, at those 10 small plates on your fingertips. Broken, splintered, yellowish, pale, and you think, all right, calcium cream. What will surprise you is this: your nails reveal health problems earlier than any blood test. On your hands lies an archive of the last 6 months. Every line, every spot, a message your body is sending you. And most people don't read them. Today, you'll read them. 6 signs, what each one means, what causes it, what helps. And right at the end, a recipe for a hand soak that your grandmothers used to make every week. And that's stronger than any vitamin supplement. But we'll get to that in the finale. My name is Andrew Bennett. On this channel, I talk about everything that concerns health after 50. Many people think, well, nails are nails, ugly, but not serious, not teeth. What's really behind it? Brittle, splintered nails aren't a nail problem. They're a signal that the body is lacking sulfur, iron, protein, or water. Exactly the same substances your joints, skin, hair, and immune cells are built from. Nails show the deficiency first because the body supplies them on a leftover principle. First the heart, brain, liver. Whatever remains, the nails get. If nothing is left for the nails, there's a shortage everywhere. And here's the first myth that needs to be destroyed. White spots on nails mean calcium deficiency. That's what your mother may have told you, your grandmother, maybe even a doctor in the office. It's not true. White dots are microscopic air bubbles that got trapped between the nail layers during growth. Not calcium, air. Where do the bubbles come from? Usually from microtrauma. You bumped your finger, pushed the cuticle back too roughly, worked in the garden without gloves. After 3 to 4 months, the dot migrates to the edge. You notice it and start pointlessly swallowing calcium. But be careful, not all white markings are harmless. If you don't see dots but rather transverse white streaks running from one edge to the other, and on several fingers simultaneously, then that's a completely different story. That can indicate liver or kidney problems. The difference between a harmless dot and a dangerous streak is like the difference between a scratch on a car and a crack in the engine. Similar on the outside, worlds apart in consequences. Multiple white transverse streaks. Have your liver checked. Individual dots. No worries, they'll disappear on their own. Now briefly about the structure of the nail, so everything that follows makes sense. The nail is formed in a small zone under the skin at the base of the nail, right where the cuticle sits. This zone is called the matrix. It's incredibly sensitive to everything happening in your body. Every deficiency, every stress, every disturbance, and the formation changes. The nail changes color, shape, texture. The nail plate consists of 90% of a special protein, the same one hair is made of. The protein fibers are arranged in layers like plywood, and these layers are glued together by sulfur. That's exactly why sulfur is so crucial. Too little sulfur in the diet, and the layers begin to slide apart. The nail flakes. Between the layers are thin fat and water layers. They give the healthy nail its slight shine and smoothness. When the body is dehydrated, these layers become thinner. The surface becomes matte and develops micro cracks. Under the nail lies the nail bed, permeated by fine blood vessels. Through them, the blood shines through and gives the healthy nail its pink hue. If the hemoglobin level drops, that's the iron content of the red blood cells that determines oxygen transport, and in the diluians, the pink becomes pale. If oxygen is lacking, a bluish tone shines through. From the nail color, you can read what's happening with the blood, and in a few minutes, you'll do this yourself. Now you know how the nail is structured. Every sign is a disturbance at a specific location in this system, and for every disturbance, there's a concrete solution. Let's start. One more important thing before we begin. Nails grow slowly. The thumbnail takes about 6 months for complete renewal. That means everything you change today, you'll only see fully in 3 to 6 months. Many give up after 2 weeks because they don't see a difference. The difference is there, but still under the cuticle. Patience is the most important ingredient. Take a photo of your nails today in good light. Save it. In 3 months, a second photo. Only then will you really see what has changed. Not by feeling, by comparison. That's the most honest method. Sign number 1. The most common complaint. The nail breaks at the slightest pressure. The tip splits into thin flakes like mica. You cut it, and after a week, it's the same again. 3 causes. First, too little sulfur, those bridges that hold the layers together. Second, too little iron. Without it, nail cells form with defects. Third, dehydration. The nail dries out from within and becomes brittle like clay in the sun. What to do? Concretely and immediately, 2 eggs daily. Eggs contain 3 things you're missing all at once: sulfur, protein, and vitamin D. Boiled, fried, scrambled, however you like. That's the simplest and cheapest way to give the nail building material. The breakfast that works for your nails, not white bread with jam, which gives the nails nothing. And the second food, liver. Chicken liver or beef liver once a week. Liver contains iron in the most bioavailable form, not from a tablet, but from real food. The body absorbs it directly. 1 portion per week, and the iron deficiency starts to close. Fried with onions, with a little apple cider vinegar. That's how it's been done in traditional kitchens for generations. 2 eggs daily, liver once a week. The brittleness begins to subside after 3 to 4 weeks, when the new nail grows out from the base from different material. And something else that surprises many. Onions and garlic are two of the richest sulfur sources in everyday cooking. Sulfur is the binder that holds the nail layers together, and onions and garlic contain more of it than most supplements. Daily in the soup, in the salad, add while cooking. Don't think of it as medicine. Think of it as normal seasoning. Whoever eats onions and garlic daily gives the nail exactly the sulfur it lacks. Add to that a glass of mineral water rich in bicarbonate. These waters contain natural sodium bicarbonate and minerals that reach the nail matrix directly. And now do something right now. This takes 2 seconds. Press firmly with your thumb on the nail of another finger, so firmly that it turns white. Let go. Watch how quickly the pink color returns. This is called the capillary refill test. It shows how quickly the blood flows back into the small vessels under the nail. If within 1 to 2 seconds, normal, circulation is good. The nail is getting nutrients. If 3 seconds or more, the blood supply is disturbed. The nutrients you're eating simply aren't reaching your fingertips. You can eat eggs and liver every day, but if the blood doesn't transport it all to the fingertips, the nail still gets too little. What helps? A simple exercise that boosts blood flow in 1 minute. Close both fists tightly, 3 seconds. Open, spread the fingers wide, 3 seconds. Close again. 20 repetitions 3 times daily, morning, noon, evening, 1 minute each time. Why does this work? When you close the fist, the vessels in the fingers are compressed. The blood flows out. When you open, the vessels widen. Fresh blood flows in, a pump. 20 strokes and the fingers are warm and pink. The supply has begun. Do it every day, and after a week, the test shows a different result. Sign number 2. Everyone sees this and thinks, it's just age. But something more serious could be behind it. Now run your finger over your nail. Feel the ridging. In most people over 50, these fine vertical lines are present, and most of the time it's actually age-related. The matrix works a bit more unevenly over the years, like a printer that pulls the paper in with slight jerks. But what to pay attention to? If the ridges have suddenly appeared within a few months, or if 1 or 2 are noticeably deeper than the others, that's no longer age. That can be dehydration, magnesium deficiency, or a signal from the thyroid running at half power. What specifically helps? First, oil on the cuticle every evening, a drop of olive oil or coconut oil at the base of the nail. Gently massage in with circular motions, 30 seconds for all 10 fingers. The oil nourishes both the matrix and the plate from outside. The ridges become softer, the nail more elastic. Second, sesame, a tablespoon daily in porridge, in salad, or simply chewed. Sesame contains calcium, magnesium, and zinc, 3 minerals the matrix needs for even work. Not from a tablet, better absorbed from food. Cheap at the supermarket. Third, water. 1.5 liters daily. Not tea, not coffee, water. With age, the thirst sensation dulls. You drink less than you need without noticing, and the nail is one of the first tissues to lose moisture. Place a bottle in a visible spot and drink every time you see it. Sign number 3. Healthy nails are pink because oxygen-rich blood shines through the nail bed. Look at your fingernails now, not quickly. Really look. Are they pink or rather pale, yellowish, slightly bluish? What do you see right now? Pale, almost white nails mean the hemoglobin level has dropped. The blood is thin or poor, a bluish sheen, too little oxygen, lungs or heart working under strain. Sometimes you look at your hands and think, well, pale and cold, I'm just freezing. Meanwhile, the nails are telling you, check your blood, check your hemoglobin. What specifically helps in addition to eggs and liver, which we already have? A massage of each finger. Take 1 finger of one hand with the other hand and massage from the base to the tip with rotating motions, like when you're pulling on a tight glove. 10 seconds per finger, that drives out the congested blood and draws in fresh. And now something almost nobody knows. A pressure point on the hand that improves circulation to the entire palm. Find the depression between the thumb and index finger on the back of the hand, where the bones meet, in the softest part. Press with the thumb of the other hand. Medium pressure, circular motions, 1 minute per hand. When you press, you feel a slight dull tingling. That means you found the right spot. This point has been used in traditional medicine for over 1,000 years and is connected to the blood supply of the entire hand and fingers. 1 minute in the morning, 1 in the evening, and after 1 to 2 weeks, the nails become pink. And the third food for this sign, sauerkraut. 3 tablespoons daily. The vitamin C from the sauerkraut helps the iron from the liver be better absorbed. Without vitamin C, iron passes by the body. Plus, sauerkraut supports the liver, and the liver is directly connected to the nails. Now a short pause. Look at your thumb. Do you see the white half moon at the base of the nail? Do you still have it at all? And is it large, or has it almost disappeared? If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, now would be a good moment. The next signs, especially the 6th and the sign that gets overlooked most often, are coming up. So you don't miss any video, subscribe below. Sign number 4, the half moon. Look at your thumb. The white crescent-shaped area at the base of the nail is visible. In a healthy person, it's clearly visible on the thumb and lightly on the index and middle finger. On the ring finger, it's already smaller. On the little finger, often not at all. That's normal. But careful, if the half moon has disappeared on all fingers, if only a hairline stripe is visible everywhere, that's an important signal. It can mean that the thyroid is working more slowly than it should, the metabolism has slowed, the tissues aren't getting enough nutrients. Do you notice about yourself, freezing more than before, hair thinner, skin drier, less energy? All of this can be connected to the same cause as the disappearance of the half moons. The thyroid has slowed down and pulled everything else with it. The opposite situation, if the half moon takes up more than a third of the nail, it means the opposite. The thyroid is running in overdrive. The nails then grow faster than normal, but they're thinner, softer, bend easily. Quantity doesn't mean quality. In both cases, disappeared or too large, it makes sense to have the thyroid checked by an endocrinologist. Simple blood test, 20 minutes at the family doctor. Nothing bad, nothing painful, but it can explain things you've been puzzling over for years. What you can do yourself. Fatty fish 2 to 3 times a week. Herring, mackerel, salmon, whatever's on the shelf at any supermarket. Canned mackerel from the discount store is one of the cheapest and most effective sources of omega-3 fatty acids. These nourish the nail bed, improve blood flow to the matrix, and support thyroid function, not fried, boiled, baked from the can. And the exercise for this sign, sit upright, hands loose at your sides, slowly tilt your head forward, chin to chest without force. 5 seconds. You feel the stretch in the neck, then slowly lift the head and tilt slightly backward, only as far as comfortable. 5 seconds. Head to the left ear, 5 seconds. To the right, 5 seconds. 4 directions, 5 seconds each. Morning and evening, 1 minute. That stimulates the blood supply to the thyroid and releases lymphatic stagnation in the neck, a problem that's particularly pronounced in people who sit a lot in front of the television. Sign number 5. You can see this with the naked eye, and it frightens most people. Yellowish sheen after 60, the most common question, and here's what's behind it. First cause, fungus. Microorganisms penetrate under the free nail edge, destroy the protein, the plate changes color, becomes thicker, brittle. Many wave it off, ugly but not serious, but that's a mistake. Nail fungus, medically onychomycosis, is an open invitation for bacteria, especially when blood sugar is elevated. What looks harmless can lead to serious complications in the feet. Second cause, internal. When all nails turn yellow at the same time, become thicker and grow very slowly, that's no longer fungus. That's a signal that the lymphatic system is working with interruptions or the lung isn't providing sufficient oxygen. How do you distinguish fungus from internal cause? Fungus usually starts on 1 or 2 nails, more often on the feet at the edge. Internal cause, all 20 nails at the same time, hands and feet. What to do with 1 or 2 yellowish cracked nails? Go to the family doctor, have a swab taken for fungus. Fast and easy, result in a few days. If all nails at the same time, go to an internist. Have lymph flow and general condition checked. And 3 everyday habits that block the way for fungus. Dry the feet after washing, especially between the toes. That's exactly where the moist environment fungi love reigns. Cotton socks instead of synthetic, change daily. Air out shoes, don't wear the same pair 2 days in a row. 3 simple habits, no fungus stands a chance. And the 5th food, we already have fatty fish, now natural yogurt without sugar. Daily, a small cup. Probiotic bacteria support the gut microbiome, which in turn strengthens the immune system, and a strong immune system keeps fungi in check. Not the yogurt with fruit additives and sugar that feeds the fungus. Only natural yogurt without additives. And another small detail many overlook. Look at the shine of your nails. A healthy nail has a light natural shine because the fat layers between the protein layers are intact. A matte, dull nail without any shine shows dehydration or a deficiency state. The soak once a week and the oil daily. That restores this shine in a few weeks. Blue or purple nails in the cold are often just a reaction of the vessels to temperature fluctuations. Not alarming if they normalize quickly when warming up. But if the blue discoloration persists in a warm environment, then see a doctor. Sign number 6, and this sign is connected to something you might not associate with nails at all. Not the vertical ridges we've already discussed, but deep horizontal furrows running across the nail from one edge to the other. Every such furrow is a moment when the matrix temporarily stopped working. The body redirected all resources to survival, and nail growth was put on pause. What triggered it? Severe stress, serious illness with fever, an operation, a course of antibiotics. When the crisis was over, the matrix began working again, but the marking remained. And now something fascinating. From the position of the furrow, you can determine when it happened. The nail grows about 1 millimeter per week. Measure the distance from the furrow to the cuticle in millimeters. That's the number of weeks ago. Look at your nails now and try to remember what was happening in your life at that time. Many are amazed at how precisely it matches. 1 furrow, a one-time incident, no problem. Multiple parallel furrows, recurring stress, on all fingers at the same time, a serious systemic impact. What helps if a furrow is present and you know the cause? Nothing. It grows out in 3 to 4 months. If furrows recur, that's chronic stress that needs to be addressed. Breathing before sleep helps. 4 seconds inhale, 7 seconds hold, 8 seconds exhale, 6 cycles, 2 minutes. The long exhale switches the nervous system from alarm mode to recovery mode. The matrix begins working more evenly. Furrows stop forming. And another remedy hardly anyone associates with nails, a walk, 20 to 30 minutes daily in fresh air. Walking lowers the stress hormone cortisol, improves blood flow, and saturates the blood with oxygen. All of that reaches the fingers and the matrix. Furrows no longer form, not through a cream, but through a walk. That sounds too simple, but exactly the simple things work best. And now the second test while you're watching. This one takes 3 seconds. Place 2 matching fingers on top of each other, nail to nail, index finger to index finger. Press firmly. Look from the side at the base of the nail. Do you see a small diamond-shaped gap between them, like a small window? If yes, normal. If the gap is missing, the nails lie flat against each other without a space in between, then the plate has become excessively curved. The fingertips can be thickened and rounded. This shape change is associated with chronic oxygen deficiency in the tissues, lung, or heart problems. Medically, it's called clubbing, or watch glass nails, because the nail takes on the shape of a watch glass. Both tests now checked. Capillary filling in the diamond window. If both normal, good, work with the foods and exercises. If even one isn't normal, show your hands at your next doctor's visit. No emergency, but a reason for examination. And now what I promised at the beginning, the sign that gets overlooked most often, the sign that stares you in the face, but that most don't recognize. In medicine, it's called Terry's nails, named after the doctor who first described it. And it looks like this. Take your hand, spread your fingers, look at the nails in good light. A healthy nail is evenly pink, slightly milky, with the white half moon at the base and a narrow white edge at the tip. Now imagine a nail that looks completely different, almost entirely white, matte like milk spilled on glass. No pink shines through, no blood visible. And only right at the tip, where the nail extends over the finger, a narrow darker stripe remains, brownish or pinkish red, 1 to 3 millimeters wide. Only this narrow stripe has color, everything else is white as snow. That's not age, that's not cosmetics, that's not fungus. Terry's nails appear in people who have a strained liver in the background, a weakened heart, or a disturbed protein balance in the body. How exactly does this picture arise? The nail bed loses its normal blood content. The fine capillaries under the nail plate are less perfused. The blood withdraws. The nail loses its pink. Only at the very tip is a normal capillary bed preserved, and that shows up as the narrow dark stripe. This white discoloration isn't a pigment problem, it's a circulation problem, a sign that certain organs can no longer distribute blood evenly. In many general practices, this sign is unfortunately often overlooked, because the examination usually begins without a close look at the nails. But an attentive doctor recognizes Terry's nails immediately, and if you yourself know this sign, you can specifically address it at your next doctor's appointment. They come quietly, over years, and when they appear on all fingers at the same time, it means the body is asking for concrete attention. If you look at your nails now and see exactly that, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Go to the family doctor, ask for a simple blood count, a liver value determination, a heart examination. Calmly say to the doctor, I've noticed that my nails are almost entirely white and only the tips remain darker. The doctor will understand, and you're giving yourself the chance to catch something that can still be well managed for a long time. And now to the dark lines, because that's the topic that scares most people. And here you need precise knowledge, because the difference between harmless and serious sometimes hangs on a single characteristic. Type 1, a thin, even longitudinal brown line from the nail bed to the tip. Thin as a pencil stroke, very common in people with darker skin, in smokers, in people over 60 with certain medications, usually harmless like a birthmark on the skin. But careful, and here begins the most important part. If this line meets even one of the following conditions, then that's a signal where you don't go to the doctor in a week, but in the next few days. First condition, the line gets wider at the cuticle, wider than at the tip, or it becomes thicker from month to month. That means the pigment-forming cells have begun to grow and multiply. Second condition, the line has irregular edges, not a smooth stripe. The color spreads laterally onto the skin next to the nail, onto the cuticle. Third condition, the line suddenly changes color from light brown to black, or has different shades at different spots. Fourth condition, it appears on someone who has never had anything like this, and especially if it appears on the thumb, index finger, or big toe. If even one of these 4 conditions applies, go to the dermatologist. Simple, no panic, no fear, but go. Because 9 out of 10 such lines are harmless. But the 1 out of 10 is the reason to look at your own nails. Once a month in good light, 5 minutes. This habit can save your life. Type 2, small dark red or brown-black lines looking like tiny splinters under the nail, running vertically, 2 to 3 millimeters long. Most notice them by chance and say, I bumped into something somewhere, and move on. But if you don't remember any accident and these small streaks keep appearing on different fingers over several weeks, then that's a signal that something is happening in your blood vessels that you shouldn't ignore. Small clotting disorders, sometimes silent inflammation, sometimes problems with the vessel walls. Go to the family doctor, request a simple blood count. And another important note about the dark lines. Certain medications can cause nail discoloration. These include some antibiotics, chemotherapeutics, and some blood pressure medications. If you've started a new medication and notice changes to the nails afterward, speak to your doctor. That's not an alarm, but information he should know. Type 3, the most common, a dark bluish or black bruise under a nail, round or oval, at a spot where you remember bumping. That's a normal nail bruise. It migrates up with the nail over 2 to 3 months and grows out, nothing to do. Only if the bruise appeared without an injury, is growing, or still hurts after a week, then go to the doctor. Now to the nails on the feet, and I bet you haven't looked at them today. Admit it. When did you last really attentively look at your toenails? Not briefly while drying off, but properly. Socks off, good light, look. On the feet, at the greatest distance from the heart, the earliest signs of vascular problems appear. The nails grow there 3 times more slowly than on the hands. Complete renewal, 12 to 18 months. And that's exactly where fungus most often settles, because it's ideal for it there. Warm, moist, dark, closed shoes, synthetic stockings. 4 things you need to know. First, nail fungus on the feet must not be ignored, not because it's ugly, but because for people with elevated blood sugar, every crack on the sole of the foot is an entry point for infections. With a yellowish, brittle, thickened toenail, go to the family doctor without delay. Second, the capillary refill test also works on the feet. Press on the nail of the big toe, let go. Pink in 2 seconds, normal. 3 seconds and more, the circulation of the feet is disturbed. That's a reason to have the vessels checked. Third, cut the toenails straight, don't round them. Rounding is a reflex, but that's exactly what leads to ingrown nails. The lateral edge presses into the skin. Inflammation, suppuration, inability to walk normally. Free edge cut straight, just above the skin. Fourth, cold feet, pale nails, slow growth, frequently recurring fungus. If at least 3 of these apply, that's a serious reason to have the vessels of the legs examined. Cheap, painless, but important. Now the 5 foods in summary, everything you find at the next supermarket. Everything cheaper than a tube of nail vitamins. Eggs 2 daily. Sulfur, protein, vitamin D, the building material. Chicken liver, once a week with onions. Iron in the most bioavailable form. Sesame, a tablespoon daily. Calcium, magnesium, zinc for the matrix. Sauerkraut, 3 tablespoons daily. Vitamin C, so that the iron is absorbed. Liver for the nail and sauerkraut alongside. That's how our grandparents did it, and they were right. Mackerel or herring, twice a week. Omega-3 for the nail bed, for circulation, for the thyroid. From the can at a discount store, just as effective as fresh fish. 5 foods, no pharmacy needed, no mail order, just the supermarket around the corner. And 3 additions that enhance the effect. Pumpkin seeds, a handful daily. They contain zinc in high concentration. Without zinc, nail cells form with defects. You see that as an uneven surface and ridges. A handful of pumpkin seeds costs pennies daily and delivers more zinc than most nail capsules from the pharmacy. Walnuts, a small handful daily. Biotin, the vitamin that strengthens the nail matrix most directly. Biotin is the only nutrient for which several clinical studies have shown a direct effect on nail strength and thickness. In walnuts, it's in natural form, together with omega-3 and magnesium, and whole grain bread instead of white bread. Silicon, a trace element found in whole grains, in oatmeal, and in certain mineral waters, is co-responsible for the firmness of the nail structure. Whoever eats whole grain bread daily instead of white bread gives the nail a basic supply of silicon that many people completely forget. The recipe I promised at the beginning that your grandmothers knew, and that's stronger than any vitamin supplement for nails. Warm water, not hot, comfortable for the hands. A tablespoon of sea salt, stir until it dissolves. Juice of half a lemon and a teaspoon of olive oil. Soak the hands for 15 minutes, once a week, ideally in front of the television. What each ingredient does. Salt strengthens the plate, minerals penetrate through the surface. Lemon holds off yellowing and delivers vitamin C, without which the protein in the nail doesn't hold together. Oil nourishes the cuticle and prevents the nail from drying out after the salt. 3 ingredients found in every kitchen, cost close to nothing. 15 minutes once a week. After 3 to 4 baths, the nails are smoother, shinier, less brittle. And after 2 to 3 months, when a new plate has grown out from the base, the difference is visible to the naked eye. And the external care that works daily. Oil on the cuticle every evening. A drop of olive oil, coconut oil, or linseed oil at the base of each nail. Gently massage in, circular motions, 30 seconds for all 10 fingers. The oil nourishes the matrix from outside. It keeps the cuticle soft. No cracks, no tears, no inflammation. And the pressure point we already discussed, 1 minute morning, 1 evening. That costs nothing, needs no equipment, and after a week, the nails become visibly pink. Weekly plan, short and concrete. Daily, 2 eggs for breakfast, sesame in the food, 1.5 liters of water, oil on the cuticle in the evening, pressure point 1 minute morning and 1 evening, fist exercise 20 repetitions 3 times daily, head tilt morning and evening, walk 20 to 30 minutes. Weekly, liver with onions once, mackerel or herring twice, sauerkraut daily 3 tablespoons, natural yogurt daily, nail soak once a week. What can you expect and when? First and second week. The nails haven't changed yet. They grow slowly, but you already feel a difference in the hands. Fingers warmer due to exercises and massage. Skin around the nails softer due to the oil. Cuticle doesn't tear anymore. Hangnails rarer. That's the blood flow and the nutrients that have begun to work at the fingertips. Third and fourth week. Now the interesting part begins. Nails stop splintering. The edge doesn't crumble anymore when cutting. The surface a bit more even. That's eggs and liver, sulfur and iron. Sesame gave calcium. Fish gave omega-3. And the massage and the pressure point brought it all to the fingers. 2 to 3 months. A new plate grows out healthily from the base. Pink, firmer, smoother, with a slight shine. You see the border, below new nails, above old ones. In half a year, the old is completely grown out, and on your hands are nails you haven't had in years. And what surprises many, together with the nails, joints, hair, energy, sleep improve because you didn't just treat nails. You closed deficiencies that were slowing the entire body down. The nails were just the first to ask for help. When to see a doctor? The 3 signals where oil and soaks don't help, but the doctor does. First, dark longitudinal line on a nail, brown or black, from the base to the tip, especially if it's wider than 3 millimeters or spreads over time, straight to the dermatologist. Second, chronic inflammation of the cuticle, redness, swelling, pain on several fingers lasting more than a month. Third, nail fungus on the feet with elevated blood sugar. Don't wait, don't treat it yourself, see the doctor. Do you know what surprises me most? Not how complex all of this is, but how little is needed to change everything. 2 eggs in the morning, a drop of oil in the evening, a minute of massage, once a week the soak. 4 simple things. No prescription needed, no serious costs, no more than 5 minutes daily. And after 3 months, nails grow on your hands that you haven't had in years. Pink, firm, smooth. If you want to start, write in the comments, I'm starting. Not for me, for yourself. A written decision is almost a taken step. Not starting Monday tomorrow morning with 2 eggs for breakfast. And in 3 months, come back and tell me what has changed. If the video was helpful, thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss another video on health after 50. My name is Andrew Bennett. Until next time.